Well, hello everyone. It's been a minute if you're anyone who follows my channel. Yeah, it's been a while. Sorry for the absence. I've had a lot of ideas, a lot of things I would like to talk about, and I still would like to get to a lot of those at some point. It's a lot of things floating around up in my brain. But yeah, it's been a minute. And if you know me personally, you know there's a lot of stuff that's been going on in my life. Um, Good things, but things that have been very time consuming. Trying to think of when the last time I have updated you all, but yeah, I got my associates in exercise science, so that's done with. That's nice. And then a few months ago, I picked up a new job. Great company, meaningful work, difficult work, long hours, but good work, great company. Very happy to be working with them. And I've started a new relationship with my very wonderful, very beautiful, very loving girlfriend. So that's been most definitely a blessing. But all of those things have kept me very busy, um, trying to stay on top of my health, and all of these things has not left a lot of time for creativity and making videos. So this video won't be the most polished because I don't have a lot of time to attend to it, but it's something, just trying to put something out in the right direction. And what I wanted to talk about today was something that kind of goes along with this, and one of the things I've been dealing with that's been the most difficult during this time of change in my life over the past 6 months, something like that, um, is regaining discipline. Discipline is something I've talked to death on this channel, and I'm going to keep talking to death about it because it's something that I care about, something that I think is really, really important for people to understand and to know, to experience, to have as a tool in their tool set. Um, and I've been struggling with it in certain ways that I haven't in the past. Again, if you follow this channel, you know I'm very interested in fitness. Like I just said a few minutes ago, I have my associates in exercise science. However, with these last few months, I've really struggled to keep my discipline intact. When I was studying and I was still in school, getting my associates, I had sort of cut out times for working out, and wasn't really difficult anymore. I started working out 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago now, and I've built up a lot of that discipline over the time, and I was able to just kind of coast over the last couple of years. And back last summer, some of my training started changing, started becoming a little more focused on athleticism and stuff related to martial arts because I do kickboxing, um, and that's a great interest for me. Um, and I put some of my focus towards that. But I was always staying active, even over the last couple of years. I've been active. I've been working out. I've been training, getting stronger consistently, leaner, bigger, whatever the goal might be during that time. I've been always chasing that over the past 4 years. Um, but the last, let's see, it's been since about the beginning of summer. I've really struggled to maintain that discipline. It really dropped off the deep end. Um, Once I got out of school, I finished my degree, I was having a really hard time because I hadn't landed a job yet. And I was working a couple of other jobs, um, but it wasn't anything very fulfilling. And I felt like I wasn't putting my degree to use. So I was trying to apply for jobs. And I had been let go from an internship I was working at that was fitness related in the exercise science, personal training realm. I was let go from that, and that was very disheartening for me. So that was very difficult, although I was still training then. And then I had another situation um, with a girl that I really liked at the time, and uh, it didn't go well at all. And it was really, really hard on me. And that was largely my fault for getting way more attached than I should have been. Um, but that really, really hurt me bad. And with that, plus the loss of the internship and that I was working, I was really struggling with my discipline. Just went out the window. Like I went into a little bit of a lull, depression for a while. Um, and then sort of out of the blue, I got offered this new job at my company that I work for now. um, through a sort of string of coincidences that we don't need to go into. If you want to call them coincidences, maybe they weren't. Um, and this job has been great. I can't complain about it at all. It's been wonderful. It's been a great opportunity. But it's hard work. We do a lot of physical labor. It's fairly intense. It's long hours, which means not a lot of sleep, um, which at first was extremely difficult for me to maintain any kind of. So I'd already lost sort of my physical discipline. I hadn't been working out, hadn't been making videos, hadn't been doing a whole lot of productive anything. And that was really hard on me. And once I started the job, it was even more difficult because now, even though I had some pep in my step again, I was feeling a lot less depressed. I had some meaning in my life going on. Not that I was ever totally, my life was absent of meaning. I wasn't that depressed, but depressed enough to really be pretty miserable for a while. Um, yeah, I mean, it became extremely difficult, even with this meaning that had been reintroduced in my life through my work. Um, and also, I should add to that, not just meaning through this job, but also it's the first job I've had where it really feels like a step into adulthood. I'm 20 now, um, and this has been a major step for me in feeling like, oh, I am an adult now. I am my own man to some extent, or certainly to more of an extent that I have been in the past, and that's been great. Um, and that has rejuvenated me a lot, made me feel less childish, less like I'm wasting my time doing things, less unsure about my future. I feel like I have uh, the competence to make money and to go out on my own and to do all the things that will be necessary for me to have the kind of future that I want and that I ought to have. Um, aiming for a good future, aiming for a family, aiming for righteousness, aiming for civic responsibility, all of those things that I'm interested in. And um, I try to aim for in trying to be a virtuous man. So it's been a step in that direction, really has pulled me together. But now I've kind of lost my momentum with my physical discipline, um, and mental discipline too, just discipline in general. And it's been really difficult over the last like 6 months or so. I've been on a journey of trying to regain that, and it's been very difficult. It's been hard on me, but it's also been a great experience. It's brought me back to like I when I've been going through my workouts over the past couple weeks. It's been like I can't stop thinking about it. What it was like when I was December 2022. Is that right? December 2021, I started working out really consistently, working out in the basement with, 15-pound dumbbells, push-ups, whatever I was doing. Um, it's been this very connecting experience, connecting my past and my future and my present, um, going back to where it all started. It's been a joy, but it's been really difficult. And it's made me think a lot about seasons of discipline, seasons of difficulty. Um, I feel like it's easy for people who have been in the fitness space in particular, but because I feel like that's where this applies most, and obviously that's where I'm coming from when talking about discipline at this specific angle with fitness. Um, I feel like in that space, it's very easy to get into. You have a lot of momentum for a long time. Once you get about past your first year, 8 months, something like that of working out consistently, it becomes a lot easier, like a lot easier. You just kind of coast. It's just part of your reality at that point. It's part of who you are, part of your routines. Um, it's something you factor into everything you do. And once that goes away for a significant period of time, I probably didn't touch a weight from, or not in any with any consistently with any consistency, excuse me, from oh boy, I don't know, May of 2025 to like a month ago. So at least 6 months. What is that? That puts me at, yeah, like 6 or 7 months. Um, and once you lose that momentum after all that time and you try and work out again, it suddenly becomes intensely difficult, um, which is a challenge, man. It's really difficult. It's something else. Like I've never experienced that until this season in my life where I've had to forcefully regain my physical discipline. Um, and I want to put this out there to everyone else who works out consistently or does any practice consistently. Maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a writer. Um, Anyone who has a habit, a good habit in their life that they've been doing for a long time, that maybe it gets taken away from you for a certain period of your life, a season, or um, while you're in school, you don't have time for this anymore. And that when you come back to that, it will be there for you, but it will be a journey. It will be a challenge. Um, and don't be discouraged by what seems like your own regression in those areas. Um, when I came back to working out, it's like, oh, my strength is gone, my, whatever, my cardio is gone, mm, uh, my physique is not as good as it used to be. Um, my art isn't as good as it used to be. My writing isn't as good as it used to be. My penmanship, like whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's not the fundamental thing. It's the abstract that matters here. It's that regression isn't permanent. You you aren't less of yourself because of that, and you're not, and you still have the ability not only to be as good as you were, but better than you were. Um, we just have to be willing to play a little bit of catch up, and we have to accept that. That's part of what it means to take a break from something for a season. You can't beat yourself up about it. When I first left, when I stopped working out, that was my fault. I should have been more disciplined. I should have been more ready. I shouldn't have allowed emotional my emotions to bring me away from my good habits. It was only what that showed me was that I was coasting on the momentum I'd built up over the last 4 years. I didn't really have discipline anymore. It was just momentum. Momentum's good. You can't be 100% disciplined at every part of your day all the time. We aren't, no one operates like that. Maybe Navy SEALs do, but that's not most of us, and that's okay. Um, but after that, it wasn't when I started this job. I didn't stop working out. I didn't. What am I trying to say? If I wanted to continue working out once I started my job because I had the motivation to do it again. I had the will to do it again. And at that point, it wasn't because I didn't have the will. It was because of just the schedule, and that wasn't a bad thing. And um, that was more out of my control. Well, it's not like the job wasn't out of my control. I chose to work for the company I'm working for, um, willingly, of course, but I weighed that it was better to work there than not work there, obviously, and it was worth sacrificing exercise for a time. Um, and now I'm to the point where my body is accustomed enough to the labor and the schedule that we have that I can work out again. But it's still difficult. When I come back to fitness, it's still a challenge to get back in there and lift weights. And part of it is so just discouraging. Like I've I have so much of my identity wrapped up in fitness, not specifically, oh, because I can lift this much. Like, oh, I have a 225 bench. Like that's part of my identity. Like, no, that's not what I mean. But being the disciplined guy and being the guy who is very athletic and always pushing himself forward in that domain, in one way or another, having that now sort of stripped from my identity because it feels like I've regressed. It feels like I'm not that person. I feel like I'm not the man I was, you know, 6 months ago. And that can be intensely discouraging. Um, but we shouldn't have to be discouraged by that, especially when you have to take a break from your practices, um, your hobbies, your interests. When you have to take a break from those for a time, um, and you're not as skilled as you were, you're not as good as you were at those things. We don't have to beat ourselves up about that, especially if it's for a good reason. There are good reasons to not to let go of that for a time, for a season. For me, it was first, it was my own fault. My own emotions got the better of me for a time. But then I started this new job and I started a new relationship. And those have been immensely good things. Those have been some of the best things in my life that I can recall. Um, so it's been a blessing more than not. But now I have to go back and I have to claw my way through and reintegrate those pieces into myself. And that's painful and that's difficult. But that's okay. It's supposed to be. Um, and I think in a way it's been really beautiful because I think it's beautiful to have to go back and redo what you did because it forces you to remember what it was like at the beginning and it connects you to why you started. That's it. Yeah. Connects you to the beginning. It brings you back. Every time I've been working out since I've been trying to regain this, it's been all I can think of is, oh, I just remember what it was like back then, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. It's just beautiful. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to do that. And especially since I know most of the people who watch my videos are young people, it's like we have time too. It's not the end of the world to have to play catch up for some time. Um, we have time, as long as you have the will to go and get after it again, to regain your skills, regain your abilities, your strength, whatever it might be. Um, don't be discouraged by that. In fact, you should be grateful for the opportunity to do that because it's going to connect you to yourself better than you were before. It's going to connect you to why you started. It's going to connect you to why you're passionate about your work, about your skills, about your hobbies, your interests, um, why you're passionate about them, why you're moved by them. Fitness for me isn't necessarily a hobby. It's something that I'm intensely passionate about. It's something that I'm intensely driven by. It's something that I feel is a virtuous pursuit. Um, so yeah, get in touch with that. It's a good thing. Don't be discouraged if you're going through a season or we're going through a season like I was, where you have to be away from that, or maybe just life events have pulled you away from that. You don't have the will for it anymore, but you feel bad. You want to come back to it. It's okay. It's okay to have a season away from it, but know that it will be difficult to come back, and you don't have to be discouraged by that because it'll connect you because it's still good. And in doing so, you'll get the opportunity to connect greater with your past self and your past motivations and all those little internal motivations that personify themselves with you. You'll be able to get in touch with those again, um, your passions, your interests. Anyway, I'll quit rambling on. Leave you all to it. I hope you have a great week. I do pray for everyone who um, watches these videos. God bless. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. Try and keep cool. Focus on what you can control. There's a lot of things, particularly in American politics, that are going crazy right now with these files being released, and you know, uh, it's easy to get overwhelmed. But try and keep try and do what you can control. Do what's good. Remember that goodness has already won. Christ has already risen. God bless you all. I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing week. Stay safe. Um, God bless.